gosh, can you believe it? It's the last chapter. The last chapter. Chapter 17, Molecular Shape. For exercise A, the very first thing you need to do to be able to do molecular shape is do the Lewis dot structures. So we're going to do Lewis structures for atoms and ions first. Things to remember with the way we indicate these. An electron is either an X or a dot, and an electron pair is either a couple of X's, either way you have them facing, or two dots, or a line. So a line means two electrons. Now electrons prefer not to pair up, but they will if they have to. And ion charges must be shown on the Lewis dot structures. And then finally, Lewis dot structures only deal with the outer shell electrons. So it should be very simple and straightforward to be able to draw Lewis dot structures for atoms and their ions. Okay? So let's look at potassium first. Where is potassium? There it is. Potassium is in group 1A, which means it has one electron in its outer shell. It's an atom. There it is, one electron, and it doesn't matter where you stick it. Bromine, on the other hand, there's Br, is down here, and it's in group 7A. So it has 7 electrons in its outer shell. So how are we going to stick these in? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, as far apart as possible. And then 5, they pair up when they have to. 6, 7. And it doesn't matter whether you have that single electron here, 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 or here. That's bromine atoms. Neutral charged. 7 electrons in the outer shell. This is material that we've already learned based on group A's. This was from chapter 3. Barium. Barium is in 2A. There it is. So it has 2 electrons. We don't stick them close to each other. 1, 2. And then finally nitrogen. Where's nitrogen? Here it is. Nitrogen is in 5A, so it has 5 electrons in its outer shell. So we stick 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we pair up 5. So there it is. Those are the totals. And those are the Lewis dot structures for each of these atoms. Now, how do we do the ions? Remember, since potassium is in group 1A, that means 1 electron in its outer shell, and everybody wants 0 or 8 whenever you are an atom turning into an ion. So it's much easier to lose that 1 electron. And that's it. That's losing 1 electron. It's got 0 electrons in the outer shell. And as you can see, there are none. So this is the atom. And this is the ion. 1 electron in its outer shell, 0 electrons in its outer shell. What about bromine? It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? So it's 7A, but it still wants 0 or 8. Now it's going to pick 8, right? Which means you're going to add 1 more. But when you do that, you form a -1 ion. 8 electrons in the outer shell. Not surprised, right? What's next? Barium has 2 electrons in its outer shell. 0 or 8 is what it wants. Easier to get to 0, right? So you're going to remove those 2 electrons, but you have to include the charge. 0 electrons in outer shell. So this is just a picture representation of what we already learned based on group A elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to want to make a -3 charge by adding 3 electrons because it's got 5. Wants to get to 0 or 8, it's easier to add 3. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But the only way you get 8 is if you added 3. So we add 3 electrons here. Here we lose 2 electrons to make this. Here we gained 1 electron to make this. Here we lost 1 electron to get this. You have to indicate the ion charge, and we've got 8 electrons in the outer shell. And notice that either you're going to have 0 or 8. That's simple. That's easy. You can do those for sure. Okay? Practice up on those. That's 17A. Shouldn't take you very long. Good luck.